breathtaking photos of the rarest albino creatures in nature. Since ancient times, light-hued animals, specifically those that suffer from albinism, have held a special place in human society. They've been featured prominently and are even considered sacred in many cultures' unique mythologies. Because they're so rare and because white is a symbol of purity and cleanliness, it's no surprise that they were largely regarded as holy. In reality, rare genetic mutations that affect an animal's melanin production are usually the reasons why it's born lacking the normal coloration of its species. These animals can be true albinos, which lack all pigments and have white fur and reddish-pink eyes, or they can be leucistic, which are animals that have white or light-colored fur while still possessing some other pigments. These animals are extremely impossible to find in the wild, as their color makes them extremely vulnerable to predators. Thankfully, we were able to round up these 30 examples. 1. Have you ever seen anything spookier than this white alligator? Actually, now that we're on the subject, wouldn't a white alligator be less scary? Think about it. At least this way you'd be able to see him approaching you, right? 2. It's already a stunning sight when you get a chance to witness a humpback whale cresting in the water. That said, getting the chance to see an albino humpback whale cresting in the water is one of those once-in-a-lifetime occurrences, if you're lucky. 3. Everybody knows that even if you're wearing waterproof sunscreen, you need to reapply it after spending a few hours in the water. Here's hoping somebody told this albino sea turtle about that. The sun sure has made a pretty pattern on its shell though. 4. Bats are often called creatures of the night because of their nocturnal habits and dark coloring that effectively hides them while they flit about in the shadows. Does that make this albino bat a creature of the morning time? Whatever he is, it's absolutely adorable. 5. Majestic buffalo once roamed the Great Plains of the United States. They're not as common now, which makes a sighting all the more special. This massive albino buffalo in particular certainly stands out from the rest of the herd, doesn't he? 6. Doe a deer, a female deer, ray a drop of golden sun that would harm her without sunscreen. Sorry, singing's not my thing. Sure, that's not how the real song goes, but then again, the original tune wasn't about a deer that looked this awesome. 7. Have you ever seen anything more striking than this albino Doberman pinscher? Standing next to his brother, he looks more like a statue than he does a real animal. They probably turn heads whenever they're together. 8. Pop quiz. Name the only thing that's cuter than a baby dolphin frolicking in the water. Answer: a baby albino dolphin frolicking in the water. Talk about a cuteness overload. His mom sure looks proud. 9. The echidna is actually quite a strange, unique creature, what with its quills and the like. Yet this albino fellow is even more unique with his white spikes and his cherry red eyes. There are few things sweeter than a young echidna like this one scurrying along the path. 10. Gorillas and humans share an awful lot of traits. That becomes even more apparent when you look at something like this albino gorilla youngster. Just check out those two besties horsing around. 11. The piercing gaze of a bird of prey like a hawk is typically not something anyone will forget, especially if they're on the menu of this majestic beast's dinner. The gripping gaze of a white hawk is even more mesmerizing. Just look at its pale blue eyes. 12. Just because an animal is an albino, that doesn't mean it's any better or worse than any other member of his community. Look at these two chimps, one albino, one not, playing with each other and caring about each other. They're just two peas in a pod. 13. Sonic the Hedgehog might be everyone's favorite animated character. Still, it looks like when it came to this albino hedgehog, the animators forgot to color him in. We hope that doesn't affect his lightning quick speed. 14. When you think about Australia, which animal immediately comes to mind? Why, the kangaroo, of course. They're a bit hard to find since they blend in with the nearby brush. You shouldn't have any problem spotting this little guy, on the other hand. It looks like he stepped into a bucket of paint. Whoops, mate. 15. While the kingfisher isn't exactly known for enjoying cold climates, this white one definitely inspires thoughts of building a little bird-shaped snowman. Just look at that carrot nose and try to disagree. 16. Koalas live on a diet rich in eucalyptus. However, it looks like this little dude got a hold of a very special bunch of eucalyptus. Whatever the reason for his snowy coat, he's a true cutie. Rock on, koala. 17. This albino lion may not look like every other lion of the jungle you've seen, but don't be fooled. He's still very much the star of the show. Here it looks like he's doing his best impression of the old MGM lion back in the days of black and white film. 18. When you think of lobsters, two colors probably come to mind: dark brown and bright red shell of the lobster once it's been cooked. However, this albino lobster is a crustacean of a different color altogether with its blue hue. 19. While there's no evidence to support this, no one will blame you for thinking that this albino moose might actually be a wizard wearing a funky moose disguise. We wonder to whom this Patronus belongs. 20. In a world where everyone around you is dressed in black tuxedos, why not dare to wear white? Sure, his friends are eternally ready for any black tie gala, but he's got them beat with his white tie ensemble. You do you, penguin. 21. Raccoons, the cunning trash pandas of the natural world, are often called bandits because of their naturally dark mask around their eyes. This albino raccoon might not look like his brothers, but you can bet he loves raiding a garbage can just as much as they do. 22. There's nothing quite like a rhino, except for an albino rhino. Because this animal is naturally so light in color, the albino rhino just looks like maybe it had a vigorous bath. That's all. 23. Everyone knows that when you see the black and white stripes of a skunk, you're going to want to run for the hills. Their lack of warning stripes might make these adorable little albino skunk kits that much more dangerous. 24. It almost looks like the squirrel pictured here doesn't know what to make of his new albino friend. Maybe he thinks he's come face to face with the ghost of the squirrel of Christmas past. 25. White tigers are exceptionally rare, and they're often the product of deliberate inbreeding. That's what makes this naturally born albino tiger so special. You can tell his brother feels the same way. 26. Vultures are notorious eaters of carrion, that's dead flesh to the layman. They usually have black and purple feathers to match their dark deeds. This white vulture, on the other hand, might look innocent, however, he's anything but. 27. Wallabies are already some of the cutest creatures ever to roam the earth, so it's no surprise that this mama albino wallaby and her sweet little baby are almost too cute for words. They look like giant hopping cotton balls, don't they? 2018. Albinism doesn't look the same on every single species. Believe it or not, this is an albino elephant. Note the pinkish color of his coat and the sweet-looking mop of his white hair that tops his head. 29. Most marine life is colored to blend in with the water and hide from other predators. This albino marlin's colors are so unique that he can't help but sparkle underneath the water. He'd make a fine trophy for any fisherman, if they can catch him. 30. The male peacock is known for his impressive display of feathers, which it uses to catch the eye of a mate while also scaring off predators. This albino peacock is no less impressive for having just the one color plume. These are some of the rarest creatures on Earth, and they're truly extraordinary. Share these unusual white animals with your friends by clicking below.